Hi guys, so this is Think Louder and we're all about making Lego videos. We are probably one of the first in India to make such videos. So we're looking forward to all your support and help. If there's anything that you feel that we should improve about our videos, just let us know and we'll incorporate it. Thank you. So this is of course the Lego Technic box. It's a beautifully designed motorcycle. The actual as well as the Lego bit has about 603 parts. And there we go with the actual build. I'll just give you a little trivia before I tell you how the bike is. So the BMW R1200 GS of course is manufactured in Berlin in Germany by BMW Motorrad. It's one of the BMW GS family of dual sport motorcycles. It is about it has about 1170cc engine, 2-cylinder boxer engine with about 4 valves per cylinder. The GS Adventure though has a larger fuel tank and a longer travel suspension. As of 2012, BMW's R1200 GS bikes were the top selling models. If I have to just walk you through how this model is built. So it comes completed with the front suspension, which is amazing. The rear suspension as well. It has the 3 panniers, the top and the side ones. Again, they are decently functional. The boxer engine, I don't know if you can see it here, the boxer engine is again well designed with even the piston movement being visible. The drive shaft, the shaft drive is again is designed through 2 universal joints here. The only thing is probably, I believe they have of course the front 2 forks in the actual GS as well, but maybe, I mean again it's not a complaint, but maybe the front suspension is a little too simply designed, if I may. But otherwise, the rest of the motorcycle is just brilliant. I always am fascinated by the way the side stands are designed in motorcycles, because it has to be so well designed for the entire motorcycle, even at steep angles, to stand. So I think, I think it's a beautiful design motorcycle. You have the GS, the symbol here. You have then we have the GS logos right here, the BMW here. There is no obvious seat that they have designed, but well, it does the way it is. The whole studded tires. You can see there's 2 discs in the front as well. The entire front panel and the fenders. The exhaust is very simply designed, but it does the job of making it look so it has to. And again, a fully functional suspension, the rear one and the front one as well. So, well, there has to be a way we can motor this, and then, well, thank you very much again, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the video. Hey guys. So the way we decided, what we'll try and do is put together the BMW 1200 GS, and as far as practically possible, we'll try and compare it to the actual BMW. At some points, you will be able to see the actual component on the screen. Not all, but some. Now, what I've done here is I've taken all the unique parts from the Lego box and laid them out. I'll just name them for you so that it's easier for us to connect and correlate when we're actually building the model. So typically what you see here are the lift arms. They're named as 1x4, 1x7, 1x8, 2x4, so on and so forth. A large part of the framework is built with these. The specific part is again a lift arm with the Legos. I think Lego Technic has completed 40 years. from 1977 to 2017. They have a 24 gear tooth also depicted on it, and the number 40. This is the engine block. This is the shock absorber. This is typically a part of the steering assembly, and you have the tow ball joint there, which is this. The large frame which sits at the base. This is a small panel which sits on the tail light, somewhere in the tail light. These are the fairing panels. Some of them are for the petrol tank. Some of them are for the side of the motorcycle. You will see them as they connect. Again, the lift arm is a square panel lift arm. Another type of lift arm. These are again angular lift arms for different sections. Lego has nicely color coded them so it's easier. This is the piston head. This is a bush used again at multiple points. You will see this is the connecting rod, and this again, since you're on the engine side, this is the crankshaft, the exhaust pipe. These are some of the bushes that you see here. One more gear. All these now are different types of axle and pin connectors. You have the single one. This is a universal joint. This is typically used at the drive shaft. So the BMW 1200 GS is a shaft-driven motorcycle. So this is a universal joint which connects the drive shaft to the rest of the transmission. This is a unique piece to this BMW 1200. This red piece here. Some more lift arms. The rim. The tires, which are again the off-road type of tires that they've replicated well. Now these are all the axles that you see of different lengths used at different parts, different sections as well. A couple of them are the ones with a stopper. This is the front fairing, the part of the front fairing, and this is a part of the side panel where I'm sure if you've seen the actual 1200, it's just next to the petrol tank. So this is the entire part assembly. Thought is, we'll try and build each component separately. You will see a completed component on the top right or left of your screen. I'll try and put together all the parts related to that specific component table and then build from it. We will try and compare the Lego component, the actual component in the BMW 1200 GS. So, okay, here we go. Thank you very much. Quickly, I like to collect all the parts for a specific component first and then start off. So here's the first part. Like that. And this is the part just talking about the lift arm with the 40 years part on it. These are the two parts I was telling you about, which are unique to a specific build. So I've connected this here now. There you go, and this goes right. Just a reminder, we're actually making the base frame for the transmission. So I'm going to fix the first gear. Let me just see how that goes inside. There you go, that's the first component built. Again, it's sort of the base frame for transmission. Again, just remind you, this is a part of the engine frame. We're going to try and build the engine on top of this now, and then get the whole thing and then get the whole thing together. Okay. And this is the engine block. I think it's you can actually see all the ridges and the section for the piston as well. Here you go. And this is, like I said, again, observe the way connecting rod and the crankshafts actually together. So here you go, I've connected the connecting rod and the crankshaft. Here you go. This is the second part of it. I'm trying to see if I can do this a little slowly, but it's rather easy to pick up, not okay. And let's see, there you go. And this is basically the assembly. The piston heads sit on top. So there you go. You have your the two pistons, the two cylinder, like a boxer engine. So you have these two cylinders and the crankshaft. Now let's just see how we can get them inside the engine. There you go. One goes here, and what we're going to try and do is get the second engine block in now, and just complete, and let's put together the second part of the engine as well, so that it's actually complete. Here you go. Just talking about how the pistons work. How you can see the pistons rotating here now. What we'll try and do now is connect the engine to the rest of the frame now. Here you go, and this axle and the pin connectors and push in like this. The actual engine is made now. What we'll try and do is now connect this to the rest of the transmission. Let's get a small bush connected on the side so that it's secure. And now let's connect the entire piece to the first part of the frame. You see, I'm just going to connect it in this fashion so you can see. There you go. Perfect. Now we need to connect this engine to the transmission. So here is the way we do it. One axle, I'm just connecting this physical gear here. I'm going to press it in and it should go in. You press it in as far as it goes. There you go. And you can, it's a lot of touch and feel, like really. So there you go. We've managed this now. I'm going to now put this part away because now we're going to create the rest of the transmission. This looks good. It's always a good habit to to compare even the position of the entire section. All right, so this is the second part of the transmission. This basically now connects to the drive shaft of of the engine. So what we will need is the universal joint, which I talked about earlier, and an axle to connect the drive, to create the drive shaft. So these are the two universal joints, and this is the drive shaft. To show you here. There you go. So there you go. That's your drive shaft ready now. And now let's connect this to where it will connect to the transmission, which is here. There you go. We've connected the drive shaft. Let's now just make the rest of the engine. T-section, 2 pin connectors, frame, so this section is ready. There you go. That's done. Let's keep this part here now. So we'll just make the second part of the frame here. So we need 4 pin connectors, a little longer lift arm, a shorter lift arm. It basically connects in this specific pin, these 2 pins. Okay, this frame is now done. Now let's bring these together and let's connect. So they go between these 2 sections. So, and you just need to make sure the pins are rightly aligned. Here you go. So you align these 2 pins of the section and then press them completely inside so that they flush
with you. Similarly on this side as well, just get your, just remember the single pin on this side and double pin on the other. So here you go. Make sure it's flushed correctly. Okay, there you go. So these sections are now ready. We need now another axle and a bush. We'll connect this in the second pin here. Just about midway. Just make sure it flushes with the base here, and then you know it's the right length, depth to push it in. Okay. Here. So it completes that. So just to remind you, we are trying to now build the drivetrain. This is the drive shaft. If you notice, when I move it, when I turn the drive shaft, it actually turns these two gears as well as this end, which is going to be in turn connected with the transmission and the engine. So we will have a complete assembly very, very soon. Just so that you can see these parts clearly, which I think is very important to understand how we're building the entire structure together. This is stop axle that we had. So we've turned the whole thing upside down, and we're now going to connect this section here, just on this stopper. I'll just flip the whole thing. There we go, fit perfectly. You can see it section now. We connect this piece, this entire piece just now. Okay, interesting. Here we go. We're gonna now connect the transmission to the drivetrain now, and just make sure that you have a very clear look at how it works. So this is basically the drive shaft, which I'm going to connect into the axle that comes in from the engine drivetrain. Here you go, like this. Just make sure everything is aligned, and that's it. Then you have these two connectors, axle connectors, you can press in, and you should have your first beautiful drivetrain ready, connected to the drive shaft as well. I'm going to try and move this around so that you're able to see how it works. Excellent. And turn this around and you'll see the shaft, the gear, transmission, and the pistons. Everything works well. And it's always a good thing to check this once you connect two moving parts together. Fantastic. Okay, now we're going to try and make the rest of the frame. So I'm going to keep this section separate away so we can start with that. Okay, I'm gonna keep it down, just get her other parts put together. Now remember, this is connected in this angle, so it will just, you just have to basically replicate how these connections are here with the right angle, and that's really the key. Yeah, I think it fits well. Just make sure when you're fixing anything, right, it's always a good idea to clamp it and check with at all sides. Let's now make the steering column. We will need a couple of bushes to lock things in, which are here. But then we need the actual section which has which is this section, which is used, of course. This is the towel ball point where the towel ball socket joint will enter. Just make sure when you're connecting, it has to be this way with the ball joint facing down. Okay, let's do here. Let's get one more axle that we need for this. So we have the axle here as well, and then we need two small connectors, lift arms, which are here. Okay. Now making sure that you have this section here connected. Then you have, perfect. Like I said, and make sure that this the ball joint is facing down. Cover this with a bush. So you have this covered. Okay. Let's now connect the shock absorbers as well. With the left, with the yellow part facing outward, you need to connect this here. Make sure the holes are aligned, and once you're sure, just press them in. Make sure they're connected on both sides. This moves. There you go. That's your basically that is becoming your the front section. It'll largely work like this. So you notice it's going to work like this, and there's going to be another this angular joint with a towel ball socket that is going to come, so that we can connect this. Let's keep this part here for a while we make the other section. What we're trying to do actually is make the front steering section now. Now you can just make sure when you're using this specific joint, this is facing, this is downwards, so like this. Set. This is just the movement of. It'll help the suspension go up and down once we reach the point. So you can see as the suspension moves, right, this is what you will see as once we fix the tires in. Okay. Okay. Now this section, which you see here, is going to sit on top of the drivetrain now. So here you go. So these are your two sections now, and we have to. So this, if you remember, it's the entire drivetrain with the shaft and the gears. We're going to now fit this frame on top of it. So to make sure that you connect it properly. So one is here. See where these two holders are, and you can pin them in while you fix this here itself. Here you go. So you have a good structure there, and the second part actually lands up on this specific section. So lift this tail up and you just pin it a little in here, and then we will make sure that it connects with another axle. Okay. But just make sure these two are plugged in properly. Okay, so let's just, these two come here, just to make sure that you have the right angle. Maintain. One's here, the other's on this side. Here you go. Now your frame sits strongly and that's perfectly fit actually. So now this specific thing won't move. You of course have this part which is going to turn, and we're going to connect the swing arm. This is your front suspension. Let me see, this front suspension also moves now, and the rear swing arm also moves. There you go. Now let's start connecting the rear shock absorber. So if you remember, we had this specific pin open. What we're going to do is now shove this from here and then thrust the pin in. There you go. So now this is movable, but it's fixed now completely. So now if I have to just go back, and you'll see you have the engine, you have the transmission through the shaft drive. This will then connect to the back wheel, and then you have the frame on top of it where you have the rear suspension and you have the front suspension. Yeah, the front suspension, the rear suspension, the transmission, and the gear system. Of course, this now connects to the rear wheel, and we'll see how that works out. So I'm going to now keep this on the side, and let's make the rest of the frame. And now this entire section has to fit perfectly properly in these parts. Okay, so just pay close attention to this. So this one, second is 2. So one went through the rear shock absorber and one went through this specific panel. Okay, just make sure everything is fit correctly. Now this basically gives the frame a sturdy fit. Since there are moving parts, these fittings are basically just make sure that the frame is sturdy now. So that, you know, apart from the suspension here and apart from the suspension here, it's independently moved now. These are the 2 shock absorbers. So this is the front of the section. The pipes are going to go from here and connect here. Okay, so pipes will connect here. So that's how the pipes are fit from here to here. So largely this is the entire frame now, especially the frame which makes the entire structure of the motorcycle. You have the front suspension, you have the rear suspension, you have the gear train which is built now. You can see the engine with the pistons, you have the exhausts. What we're now going to try and do is, of course the seat is also there. What we'll now try and do is make different components. We'll start with the rear seat, then move over to the exhaust pipe, and then the other panels. So I'll keep this on the side now, and let's just move to the next section. And that became your tail, where the GS symbol is here. So this is your tail section, okay? You can see it clearly. We're going to now connect it to the rest of the motorcycle, so let me get that in. Okay, now straightforward, you'll see this red connecting pin actually goes in here. And just to make sure we have everything pressed in, let's just make sure we have. So basically make sure we have everything in play. There you go. This is becoming tail section now. If you notice now, it's starting to come together. Transmission, this is the rear. This is going to be for the rear wheel, engine, exhaust, front suspension, rear suspension, and your tail section now. What we'll now make is the body frames. So you'll see the body panels coming in on the side now. That's what we'll try and complete. So again, I'll just keep this on the side. I can come back and bring it back later once we're ready. Again, a good idea would be to just make sure we connect one side of the panel. So you will notice this part here. This one section goes here, yes, and the second goes into these two pins here. Actually, there you go. This and this section will connect. Okay, there you go. It's required a little adjustment here, so to make sure I have all. Yeah, perfect. So you have both the panels ready now, and these are the front two panels of the motorcycle which you just added. And now we will just move on to the rest of them as well very quickly. What we only do is just this specific panel, we just have to put a sticker there. There you go. Perfect. The rear tire now. So this is how we get the rim and the tire. Just make sure you fill it correctly, and there are no gaps between the rim and the actual tire. And it's a very close feel to the way you actually fit a tire, and making sure there are no gaps. But now, of course, you have tubeless tires nowadays. So this is the rear wheel with the tire. Let's get a push, and I'll just put it down so that you know where to fix it. It simply goes in to the brown stop axle that we had. Perfect. Then the bush. Perfect. There you go. You'll notice that now the wheel is connected and the entire motorcycle now is largely functional, from wheel to the axle to the shaft to the engine. Let's just quickly make the exhaust pipe. So the exhaust pipe is pretty simple. It wasn't as detailed. Well, the design is pretty simple in the original motorcycle as well. So let's just make sure we have that set up. This is how the exhaust pipe looks, and now I am going to connect it here. See? There you go. Neat. Perfect. Okay. So there you go. So that's your entire rear section with the swing arm, exhaust pipe, tail, and everything else that I've just been explaining. Let's make the front section now. Let's get the front tire now. Again, this is the tire. Just make sure you have it fit properly. Everything is flush with the rims. There you go. Perfect. Push. Then put this here. Okay, for the sprocket, and you have this section almost ready now, so I'm going to keep it here. And now, just the way, if you remember, we put a long axle through that section. We'll do it on this side as well. So here, that's going to be an important part now. Very, very important. Just make sure things are aligned. This specific push has to be perfectly placed. Has to be perfectly placed here. Still dicey, but has to be perfectly placed here so that you are thus able to push. There you go. Oh, got it. Just make sure your alignments are fine and perfect. So your entire front section is going to be resting on this. So that's basically your front section, and we will now just connect this to the rest of the frame. So these are the two tower ball joints that we're talking about. It's very important now that these two joints, these round joints, have to fit in these sockets perfectly well. And see here, one is the lower one, you need a click, and then the upper one. Perfect. And there you go, you have the first look of your complete motorcycle now. Excellent. So there you go, this is the first complete look of the motorcycle that we have made. If I have to just run through the parts again, we made this is the entire front section that we made, and you can see this the suspension working properly. The front wheel, of course, is not powered. There's a disc brakes that you can see here. The exhausts from the engine coming out, the engine, the exhaust pipe itself, the rear wheel connected to the transmission completely. the front panels of the GS, the seat. We make the tanks now. You can see the GS logo here. So that's the first look of the complete motorcycle. What is left now is the handlebar, the saddlebags, and the side panels here, which we will do real quickly, and of course the headlight section. Yeah, we'll get to that right away. Beautiful. This is the entire handlebar now. Let's just connect this to the motorcycle. So you can see the handlebars. That's explained to you. You can see the handlebars and the rear section as well. Everything working perfectly fine. I think again, Lego has, full marks to Lego for designing this. There you go. Okay. So you can see now the bike actually stands on its own. I saw the headlight section now. There you go. With the first panel, it looks excellent. You just have to connect. Let's again find the motorcycle and ensure you can notice it. Instead, make sure you observe it properly, and there you go. Fantastic. So now you have most of your motorcycle made already, with side stand, everything. We just now have to just put the finishing touches. There is this one section that we need to connect. So notice. Okay. So this side, similarly. This is kept as a frame, and this is primarily to connect the two panels. If we have here, which there you go. This is the first panel that sits in this, which covers the petrol tank, and it has a typical the whole GS logo on it. That kind of gives it a complete, a fuller look to the motorcycle now. There you go. So both the panels. Let's launch the motorcycle now. What we'll now do is we'll make the tank bags. Okay, so as we continue to build the panniers for the BMW 1200 GS, interestingly, it comes with three, and very beautiful. Even the Lego toy actually gives enough functionality in terms of opening and closing of these bags. I'm not sure if they come standard with GS, but they're very, very good looking. The 1200 GS is one of the few motorcycles in an untapped one. A beautiful off-roader. This is how it will fit on the side. Okay, that's the second one. Let's make the last one now. Alright, so we're almost coming towards the end of the pannier setting now. There you go. This how the top lid opens like this. Okay, and that's the last pannier. Okay, cool. We'll just connect all this. Since we're gonna put all the three. Two for the side. And one for the top one of the toast sides. So here comes our motorcycle. Let's just connect. One of them goes outside, the second one will and once you fix these, you just push this pin inside, just hold it together, and that's it. This is the one which is on top. Perfect. There you go. This is your complete BMW 1200 GS. And thank you very much for watching. What I'm going to try and do is, of course, make more models now, and keep watching Think Louder. We're going to keep making these specific videos. Any comments that you have, any feedback that you have, any suggestions that you have, please give them and we will try to incorporate them. Thank you again from Think Louder. Take care.